Welcome to JobSkillshare.com. Today we are making our video on Active Directory user accounts, and this is a part of course Active Directory User Management short course certificate. So what are we going to learn from this section is we are going to learn how to create user accounts. We are going to learn disable user accounts, and we're going to learn how to manage user accounts, passwords, and overall management of that user. So if someone asks me, Dan, can you give us now a real example? Can you show us a real example? Why would I need it, and where should I start from exactly? So let's say, for example, a company just hired me and you are new to IT and you want to know from the scratch. And how does it start basically when you say add a user account, disable a user account? What do you mean by that? Okay, so I'm going to show you guys a little real world email from HR management. So HR sends you an email, okay? And it says new hire, okay? And it says this person is going to be a PR manager, and they put their name and they say the starting date is April 16 whatever year, and then they say, okay, your manager or coach is going to be this person. They sent you that email. Now somebody assigned you that email to you. Now you're the IS guy, or you're the administrator, or you're whatever, whoever who is going to be managing Active Directory for this call. So that means you need to learn how to add users. You need to learn how to manage them, how to create all that stuff. And how do you do that? This is what I'm doing here. I'm going to start from scratch. So what you do, the first thing is somebody is going to give you access to the server, okay, or the Active Directory add-in on your computer, meaning you will have either Windows 8 with Active Directory on it, or you'll have to log into the server with Active Directory on it. So that's how it's going to be done. Now, like I said, this course is not about installing Active Directory. It's about managing only user and computers in Active Directory. So the first thing you need to do is in 2012 server, you will click on Server Manager, which is right here, and then you will go to Tools and then click on Active Directory Users and Computer. Now if you don't want to do it this way, you can also go on the right side, go to the search, and here type Active Directory Users and Computers. Okay? And if you don't prefer it this way, you can go here and go to Administrative Tools, click on that little window on the keyboard, and you will click on the Administrative Tools, and it will take you back to Active Directory Users and Computers. So I'm going to double click on that. So you just looked into it. There's a few more ways you can go from here. You can go from the Windows. You can search about it. You can go directly on the tools and click on Windows, Users, and Computers. So we are going to start from an example. Let's say, for example, Dan just joined this company, and we are going to add Dan to our company, which is Contoso.com, and your company is definitely going to be different than Contoso.com, so it's going to say that over here. And then what you're going to do is you'll have users folder, or whatever folder, mean you'll have like a sales department or maybe IS department, and you want to add that person to that folder. We will assume that this is your folder where you need to add that user. The first thing you need to do is to right click on it, click on new, then you'll go to user. Now if you don't want to do it this way, you can also click on this folder and click on this little icon, and it will tell you create a new user in the current container. And if you click on that, it will take you to the same window that I'm going to click on the right click, and then it will take me to this window. Alright, so Dan Khan is the guy you are adding. Okay, you just got a request from your HR management. Dan Khan just joined the company. He's a PR manager, and this date he's going to start. Let's say after 2 weeks he's going to start, and now you're setting up his email, you're setting up his Active Directory stuff. In this course we are just doing the Active Directory, so we're not too worried about email, but it's going to be also created over here. This is going to be linked with your Exchange server. That means when you create a username over here with that address, it will create an email address, and you'll have to do some little other stuff, but we're not basically doing that. We're doing just Active Directory and Active Directory users and computer management. So we added Dan Khan here, and it depends on your company how they set up a rule for the usernames, user login names. Means some people use DANKHA, and then they will put like a date of birth, maybe like something like this or whatever, or maybe the date they start. And some people prefer to do Dan Khan. The problem with Dan Khan is that there could be another Dan Khan, pretty much, let's say if it's a common name, let's say Steve White, then there's going to be, probably if it's a big company, you're going to have another Steve White, and then you need to give him Steve White 2, which doesn't sound it kind of like sound okay, Steve White 2. So some companies prefer to do like, little bit like first three initials, last three initials, and then put some numbers in there. But it really up to your company. You're really not deciding that. You are not the person who's going to be deciding that rule. It's going to be your manager, or it's going to be your whoever basically do the whole process for this Active Directory. So we will assume in this course, my manager told me to use DKON, the first initials and last full name, which is DKON. We're going to click next here, and then here, now if he is going to be joining after 2 weeks, you might want to say account is disabled. Just click on that and then put a password. Alright, now you also want to check this user must change password at next logon. Now you want to do that because if somebody log in, new user, they will have a chance to use their own password, but before telling them to, they will get a prompt. You will have to kind of tell them about your password policy, because some user might be coming from a company that they have like 8 characters, or someone might have a long character. So you don't want someone to come with the less characters while your company rule is to put 10 characters. So then he's going to be trying all these small characters, and he's going to get prompted, you can't change it because your domain policy blah blah blah, and he's going to get annoyed. So you want to tell him about the policy first before you check this, or you can leave it unchecked and do that later on. You'll click on next, click on finish. Once you click finish, Dan Khan will be added to your company now. Now this person, Dan Khan, is added right now. Okay, what is the next step that you're going to do? Is basically you're going to add information. What group this person belongs to, what kind of information are you going to be adding. So to do that, you'll have to right click on Dan Khan, and then you go to properties. Properties is where you add all that stuff, and we're going to go through some tabs over here. Why would you need some of these, and some of them are just for documentation. So I'll tell you guys that if you are going to be this is going to be again up to your company. If your company requires you to put office and description, then you'll have to do that. If your company requires you to put email address and telephone number, you'll have to do that. But most of the people, they just have either 1 or 2 requirements, but not too much, because that's going to it's not very practical. Like, people are going to go there and put their username, descriptions, and everything. Description is kind of fine. A lot of people put that, definitely. Other things like accounts is the important one. This is where we work on most of the time, because there are a few things that you have to do. Sometimes user might come to you and say that let's say a user got married, and she wants to change her last name. You'll have to come back here and change the last name. Other thing is the logon hours. So for example, if you click on this logon hours, and then you say this user can only log in from this time to 8 o'clock or 10 o'clock, and you don't want them to log on a Saturday or any other days, you can block that. But the only problem with that is that you will have one day that the user will come back for work after that logon hour. So you don't want to do something, you don't want to do a standard for everybody. Let's say you have 300 users, and you made a standard and nobody can do this after 10 o'clock, and then one day there's a big big there's, let's say, some dues or renewal dues time came in, and then everybody has to be there just to finish their work before people come and start paying money. And now money, when it comes to money, businesses will come back to you, hey, let the user go in because they need to work and so people can pay, and then you have to come back and change all this stuff. It's going to be a nightmare. So I don't see this a lot for, unless there's a reason for this. So I'll just leave that on. I just wanted to kind of go over it. Log on to is basically computer. This person can only log into certain computers. So this is basically used for kiosk. Let's say you have one username that is only used in like some kind of library or some kind of machine in a lobby where people need to use that specific username and nobody else can log into it. Nobody else can use it, so you will do that. This account cannot use any other computers to log in. Now, for normal user, you want to leave this all computers, because let's say, for example, I'm gonna do a real world call for you guys. So if somebody computer get crashed and you have to work on it, and they will have ability to log into other domain connected computers, and they will be able to log in and do their normal work, meaning that if they have, let's say, a network shared drive, like a personal drive or network, they will be able to access it by logging into other computer, and they will also be able to access all the other sites that your company use, like an intranet, and they will continue their work, emails and stuff like that, till you fix the other computer for them. So this is the ability. You want to keep this all computers for that kind of calls. Alright, so now unlock account or lock account. So let's say, for example, your company has a limit that you can only try 6 times, and after 6 times your account will get locked, and this happens all the time. People will come, they'll forget their password, or they will just type it so many times, or their keyboard might be stuck somewhere, the enter button will be pressed with something, with a coffee or something, I don't know, but it will lock them out, and you're gonna definitely get a call that, hey, my account is locked, can you unlock it? And you will come over here, you check this box and then apply, and that their account will be unlocked. Alright, so now here's are some other options that you might need to know. User cannot change the password. This could be another kiosk machine that you might want to say, okay, this kiosk machine, I don't want people to change the password, and then you want to say password never expired. Store password using reversible encryption, nobody uses this anymore. This is for older computers, so we'll just disregard that one, because we are going to be moving forward, and this option is going to fade away. Account is disabled again. We disabled it when we were creating it, but when this user start the company, we will have to enable it again. I'll show you from here. You can do it from here and apply enable account, but you can do it from other way too. Account expires mean if you have a vendor that needs to work only for 3 months to work on some of your servers or some of your computers or some site or some software, and you want to give them only 3 months of access, you will just give them over here, put the account, everything is done, and then you'll say, okay, this account will expire on this date. It makes your life easier, but then again, you need to remember that stuff. I will basically leave it unchecked, because if that person leaves, I'm just going to come back and disable that person or delete it. This is just an option right there if you guys want to use. Profile, user profile path. This is a roaming profile. Mean if you have, let's say, someone in your company, and that is a very important person, and you know, and he wants every computer he goes over there, he wants everything on that computer too. So you will basically set up a profile on your network. He's going to log into any computer, and he's going to access that profile specifically. Now you don't do this for everybody, because that is a network load. So if you have this set up for everyone, that means your network is going to be really slow, unless you have some super powers, super power type network. So you don't use this too much. But this one right here, home folder, mean if you put this right here, if I say connect, and this machine, every time this person logs into any computer, I want this H drive to be assigned, so I can put like a server name in here, and the share, it will get assigned to that person. That's a cool option. Telephones, like I said, it's up to you guys and your company rules. If they ask you to put this stuff, you'll have to put it. Organization, job title is very important. We always use this because that kind of, let's say for example, I'll give you guys a real world example, that let's say you have an internet running, that is a SharePoint internet. Your information gets synced for everybody to see on internet. That means nobody else can access this stuff to see your job title, right? But they can access the site, and the site pull information from this section. So it will pull information from your job title, it will pull information from your department, company, and then remember we put a PR manager, somebody is going to be my manager. So I'm going to go over here and find that person. I mean, I'm going to find the name of that person, and this person is going to be my manager. Then I'm going to put that, and then it will come back right here that this person reports to. So let's say in SharePoint, it will basically automatically pick up who's my manager, and then it will link me to some other cool stuff on SharePoint itself. So it has a lot of benefits when you put information in here. Again, most of the other stuff is using for reporting. So let's say if your company asks you to put office in here, every time if this person works in DC, Washington DC, you want to put DC. If this person works in Virginia, you want to put Virginia. If other person wants to work in he works in Maryland. So then when you do your reporting, and this is a standard from your company, it will be really easy to find people based on Virginia, based on Maryland. So that's why you use this. Other option that you use in managing computer is members of. This is another important one. Let's say if I was an IT person and I'm going to add another IT person, then I need to know my groups. Definitely this person is going to have a lot of rights. That means I have to add him to some kind of administrator group. So I'm going to put administrator. So let's say administrator, then there's domain administrator. That means this person can log into any computers on our domain. So you would need to know the groups for the user. Sometimes what we do is we call the HR management or their boss that, hey, can we add this person to this group, because that group might be a security group, it might be a private group, not everybody can have access to it. So you might want to know a little bit about groups, and that is something that when you join the company you need to do a little bit study about the groups, about the structure of the company, who are the top people, and then you need to know a little bit. This is more about getting to know information. It's like you're new, I know it's hard for you to do that, but it is something that it will take time for you guys, definitely. So that we use groups for that. There are other benefits for groups too. Maybe there's a folder that you say, let's say for example sales, and then you want to say that you make an account, you make another folder for accounting. So nobody from accounting can join sales, but nobody from sales can join accounting. So what you need to do is you need to add, let's say, sales, and this person will automatically get access to any folders that we specified for sales only. So that's another benefit of groups, and there are other benefits of groups, but for this video that is just good enough. Other things, you really don't need too much over here. We don't touch this area too much. Like I said, the main one is account. So get used to this one, practice this one. You're going to be working on this a lot. Like I said, normal calls, my account got locked, you unlock it, and some changing the password. Okay, so we did that from account side. Now you can also right click over here and then say enable password. Enable account, sorry. You see this little icon right here going down arrow? That means this account is disabled. If I click on enable account, it will enable the account. I can add to a group. I can copy this person. I can reset the password. Sometimes what happens is if somebody changed their password, let's say somebody changed their password yesterday, they might instantly forget it, and they're like, okay, you know what, I forgot my password, can you just reset my password to something like easy, and I'm going to change it later on. So for you to do that, you'll have to click on reset and then click on the password, do that, and then say user must change the password. So when they log in with your normal password that was a standard password, automatically they're going to get a prompt and they will be forced to change it to their new password. You don't want to leave it unchecked, because users like to use very easy password, so they will keep that password, and that's a security risk. Okay, so this was all about users. You come here, a summary, you just go to the user, any folder, right click on it, click on new, go to user, and you just add the information. And then once you add the user, it will be right here, and then you right click on it, go to the properties, and then you just add all the information that you need from these are all you need to know in adding users, managing users. This is all about managing users from here. Other thing, if you want to search about users, you can click on this search right here, and then here you can just say user contacts and groups. If you know where it is, you can pick the folders in here. Sometimes I do is entire directory. Maybe this user I can find it in this group. Maybe somebody like moved it mistakenly. I'll just say entire directory, and then I'll just put a name here, and that will find that user for me, and then I can do whatever I want with that user. So it's a good way to do that. Other thing is that you can do entire directory from here. Sometimes what you do is when you do find like that, you might have like computers to find, you might have groups to find. So this is a very good feature from Active Directory too. Like sometimes you will get calls that, hey, we need to find that vendor and enable that vendor account again, and that vendor is like, worked there for like 5 years ago. You don't know where you put that person, so you just go back in here and do the search on it. So this was the first video of our section, which is going to go under managing users, and this video is going to be right here. I hope you guys learned something from it. I think we covered all this, more than this, and when we come back, we're going to come back to the managing computers part. And like I said, this is a short course. We are on the point. We only discuss things that you really need at work and how you're going to solve these problems. See you guys in a different video. JobSkillshare.com.